Welcome back, everybody, to Unfiltered Perspectives. I'm Tara.
I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Leslie.
In today's episode, we're going to be continuing the conversation about beauty. But now we're shifting the focus inward. We're talking about those times when we don't feel beautiful and asking why that feeling can hold so much weight. Do we need to feel physically beautiful to believe that we're valuable? What shapes our standards of beauty, and what happens when we outgrow the standards we once believed defined us? We'll be honest about the tension between self image and self worth and ask some deeper questions about where we find our confidence when we don't love what we see in the mirror. This is Unfiltered Perspectives, where real talk leads to real growth, and every perspective is valued.
Great introduction as usual, Tara. So let's get right into it. Do you have specific questions that you want to ask tonight?
I have a few questions that we can use as jumping off points. The first one, I guess, is what does feeling beautiful mean to you, and how often would you say you experience it?
I guess I don't know if it's difficult to answer or just hard to put into words because we're talking about that inner beauty, right?
It could be.
Um,
Some people have inner beauty, some people outer beauty. How do you feel beautiful?
it really just depends because when you're feeling good about yourself and where you are in your career, when you're feeling good about where you are with family, all of the things that make up who you are, it kind of comes out of you. You know what I mean? And you kind of portray a certain inner beauty. When you're satisfied with the person that you are, it exudes beauty. Does that make sense?
In theory, I guess. I guess I understand what you're saying. I don't necessarily agree with what you're saying, but I do
You know what I
understand
mean?
what you're saying.
When you feel an inner beauty, it kind of shows.
Mm, okay.
If that makes sense. And if we're talking about the outward beauty, I always say that I don't always feel beautiful, but I think that when it's necessary, I clean up well.
Mhm.
I think I clean up well, but it's hard to bring that out when what I just talked about when everything is not working together, it's kind of hard to put that on the forefront if that makes sense.
I think so, yeah. When I say I don't agree with you, I what I meant is I get your sentiment, but it's not how I feel beautiful is what I meant to say. Or what
Okay, so tell us what you feel.
I would say that I never feel that I am exuding any kind of physical beauty. I would say that there's a lot about myself, a lot of qualities I would say that I have that make me feel that I'm a good person, that I bring something positive into the world, that I bring something positive into us, people's lives, that I try to live in a certain way that not only makes me happy, but I hope that it brings satisfaction to other people. I hope that I live in a certain way or that I exemplify certain values or that I want to, that I have and that I hope represent God, I guess, in a good way, in a
Mhm.
positive way
Mhm.
that shines through, I guess. But I don't feel that that is a kind of beauty, if that makes any sense. I mean, I hear what you're saying, like, when you feel a certain way, when you act a certain way, the person who you are from the inside, that shows through, and it
Mhm.
people you whether you like if you look in the mirror, I guess maybe you see it as beautiful or people see it as beautiful, but I don't think that. I don't think that your inner qualities transform or transfigure the physical.
So are we talking simply physical beauty right now?
We're not. But
Okay.
I'm saying that for me, since I don't think that we are, but I'm just saying
Okay.
that, like, when people talk about beauty, and even I feel like when you were describing it, I got the sense that what you were saying is that the way you are inside or that your insides somehow come out, your beautiful insides will make you beautiful outside. Is that what you were saying?
I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. I guess to some degree maybe people can tend to look past what they may be seeing on the outside if you exude a certain type of beauty from within, maybe. But I get what you're saying as well, and you
Mhm.
disagree. Okay.
Yeah, but I do think that that physical part is not important to me, I guess. I
Mhm.
am more concerned about the person that I am and that I present to the world, not the outward, but the inner qualities.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I think I would probably I wanna say a combination of these things that I'm hearing. So I generally don't think a lot about my physical beauty when I think of the things that make me me, that express me positively in the world, is that I am smart and that I'm a hard worker. But when I do try to turn to physical beauty, what I would say for myself as physical beauty would be that my outside matches how I see myself on the inside, right? That I'm strong, that I'm agile, that I'm
Mhm.
neat and clean. I do though, I think there is something to the idea that beauty on the inside shines out. I think I have a very positive energy, a very engaging energy. It's not an accident. I cultivate this loving energy. That is an internal thing. I do believe that people experience that as beauty and are drawn to it.
Mhm.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're both saying.
Okay. Would you consider yourself a beautiful person?
No, no. Even with not just physically, but I just don't I don't know, I've never thought not really.
Really? Well, I think that you're a beautiful person. If you didn't know, I'm here to tell you. Kim, do you think that you're a beautiful person?
Sure, I do.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
what do you like? How would you define a beautiful person?
Everything that Tara says that she wants to be for the world, she is. And that makes her a beautiful person. And I think that you have similar characteristics. I mean, the way that you love, the way that you care, the way that you give, all of those qualities make up who you are. And I think that you're both beautiful people.
How would you define a beautiful person, Tara?
I guess
Or can I ask you maybe a different question that might be easier to get into? Can you think of somebody who you would say is beautiful?
I don't really I don't really think of people in that way, so not
Oh,
really.
okay.
Mhm.
And I guess if I were to think about it, all the things that you guys are saying, I guess make a person a beautiful person if we're talking about inner. But I I've never actually applied it to myself, put it that way.
Mhm.
I've never thought about applying it to myself.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. All righty. On to the next.
Have you either of you ever tied your worth or your value to your appearance? I know that many people do.
My worth or my value to my appearance. I don't believe that I have.
I think I always struggle with this. I think I put more of my worth in non-physical things and probably because I think if it was just about the physical, not like I wouldn't be worth very much, but if it were just about the physical, I don't know how high I'd be on the scale. I tend to value other things than the physical because I think that I excel in those things more than I excel in physical appearance. If that makes sense.
It does.
You know how they say it's a good thing she's smart.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Um,
Your answer to that question would be,
I have been in situations where I felt less than because I felt that my physical didn't measure up to other people's expectations or what other people considered, you know, in a lot of situations, people they do judge, they do value based on looks, especially in I'm not know about this especially in younger days, but in like high school or college and even in other social situations, people are more naturally drawn to those who are physically attractive until they may get to know them and find that, oh, they're physically attractive, but that personality is a no-go for me. So yeah, I have been in situations where I felt that because I am not that that I was valued less. And if you don't have a strong sense of self, if you don't have a particularly high level of self-esteem, that can take a toll.
But I think physical beauty is so how people interpret physical beauty is so subjective. I mean, yes, there are mainstream standards of beauty, but there are also some really like culturally different standards of beauty.
Yeah,
And even given that, there is a lid for every pot. Everybody likes something different.
that's true. That's very, very true. And I know that. I've always known that. But there, like I said, I have been in situations where even knowing that, it's still obvious that some people value, and sometimes you can meet a whole room of people who value something that's not you.
Hmm.
Mm, yeah. And that's a phrase I've never heard before. There's a lid for every pot.
Huh. Where do I get all these old homey phrases from that y'all have not heard these before?
I have not heard that before. Okay.
So we've talked about the outer, we've also talked about inner. And as we're talking, I'm sitting here thinking, I do have inner beauty.
Well, thank
If I
you.
could recognize that in other people, I guess, like I said, I've never actually thought about that in terms of beauty. I just think of it in terms of, kindness or whatever, but not beauty. Anyway, I guess I could see it in myself. Or at least I'm going to work on it really hard. But do I necessarily need to? Because my next question is, do you believe it's necessary to feel beautiful in order to feel confident or worthy? I see you guys are thinking. Um,
Mhm.
I would say for myself that if the qualities that you guys are saying you guys would consider beautiful in a internal sense, in a quality sense, in a value sense. I think that those kinds of qualities make me feel good about myself. And when I
Mhm.
feel good about myself and that I bring positivity. I think that in that sense, because those are the things that I should be considering beauty or my beauty, then yes, I do need to feel that in order to feel confident because those are the qualities that make me me. Those are the qualities that make me comfortable in approaching people, make me comfortable in doing the things that I want to do and being who I want to be. And if I didn't feel that I was bringing something positive or doing something good, then I would not feel that I had a purpose. I would not feel
Mhm.
that I had a reason to step outside of me and interact with other people.
Mhm.
If that is or
Mhm.
to do the things in life that I want to do,
Mhm.
to experience the things in life that I want to.
I think I hear you saying there are some things that you value, and when you embody those things, you feel beautiful. Is that what I hear you saying?
Gonna try to feel me. 'Cause like I said, that's the beautiful thing is a new experience for me, like, labeling it as that is new.
I feel like that's where you're struggling with labeling yourself as being beautiful.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what you know what you wanna say, you just don't wanna say it. That's what I feel like. Like, I feel like you're having a hard time seeing yourself as beautiful, which is why you are.
Feel roundabout.
Yeah.
It
Because
sounds like you're talking around it.
right, because I don't s because I don't apply that label to myself
Mhm.
because haven't thought of those things as beautiful. But now that you guys have labeled it as such, then I need to start I'm learning. I'm
Okay.
learning. And
Okay.
so it's a process. And so I'm talking
Yeah.
around it because I'm not comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my goal is to become comfortable with it because
But we're
when
gonna
you
keep
when you
telling you
know
how
no,
beautiful you are until
oh
you get
no, don't please don't that's not the way. But when you what is it? What's the phrase? When you know better, you do better? And
Yeah,
so
Absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't go around like labeling myself as beautiful, but I certainly feel confident. I feel confident in my non physical attributes. And I also feel confident in my physical attributes, right? I feel confident when I am strong. I feel confident when my body can do the things that I wanted to do.
Right.
And so I don't typically think of that as beautiful, but if we're talking about confidence, I have confidence in my physicality when it matches how I feel on the inside, and those are what I would put to it. I mean, I felt confident and beautiful at different sizes. I
Mhm.
felt confident and beautiful at different ages with my so it's less
Right.
about my body looking a certain way and more about my body doing things in the world that make me feel beautiful when I'm yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's just if I'm understanding, I think it's for me, it's a combination of things. Like you said, different times, different stages in my life, I felt beautiful. I felt confident, whether it was because of how I looked or what I was doing or what I was participating in or how I was giving out. Like I said, different times, different stages in my life, there was something different going on and there were stages.
Mhm.
But I think it all goes together. When you feel beautiful, you feel confident, and
Mhm.
vice versa. You feel
Mhm.
strong, you feel confident, you feel beautiful, you feel accomplished. It all kind of goes together.
Mhm. I hear you.
It all kind of goes together. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. And as I'm listening to you guys answer the question, I think also that the reason I talked around it is because for me, the process is backwards. So I was asking, do you need to feel beautiful to feel confident? But for me, what gives me confidence is what you guys are telling are saying to me,
Yeah. Yeah.
make me beautiful, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
When you
okay.
ask the question, that was what happened in my brain. I I flipped it.
Mhm. I will say though, I have not always felt like I conform to a mainstream standard of beauty, or frankly, even if not mainstream, like the prevailing standard of beauty wherever I am. I I remember being younger and being so self-conscious about my eyebrows. I thought my eyebrows were too bushy. I wish I had those eyebrows now. There was a period in my life when I didn't want to wear green because I thought that green with my skin color made me look like a frog. Where did I get that from? I have no idea.
Oh, it's
Uh,
like made with purple and Barney. I get it.
there were times when I felt really self-conscious about my backside. There was a whole period when I wouldn't wear skirts because I felt like my butt was too big and the skirt made that obvious. So they were always I mean, there have always been times when I felt like I didn't fit in with what like I was being pushed as beautiful. And so
Mhm.
what that requires then is some reframing on my part and me finding confidence and acceptance and approval either in the way that I actually did look or in things beyond the way that I look.
Yeah, there are certain things that I just will not wear now. They're just like I don't wear shorts. I do not wear shorts. We're not doing that. And I don't know if you guys do this. Do you have a style of dress or do you dress according to how you feel?
I
Is
have like
your style or because I think that people, if you know me, you can probably figure out what's going on with me based on what I have on that day.
So what's the style mood match for you?
You can tell whether I'm confident that day, whether I'm succeeding that day, whether I am struggling that day. I really do dress according to my mood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I really don't have a style per se. I am a mood dresser.
That's interesting.
I'm a mood dresser. I may have just made that phrase up, but I am.
A mood dresser. I'm a
Yeah.
I have what I generally think of as like my work uniform. Give me like an A-line swing dress or a wrap dress, and that's
Mhm.
gonna be like my work dress up out in public outfits.
Yeah. Yeah. Tara, what about you?
I really don't. As far as any kinda style I have, I don't, but I can tell you that you can ask anybody, probably anybody who knows me, they could tell you what colors you'll generally find in my wardrobe. It's gonna be black, gray, and blue.
Beige. you
Yep.
know?
Yep. Anything, yeah, because I just I know from a very early age, since I've had this scar on my head, people would always ask me about it or talk to me about it over and over again, or I'd have to explain it. And so at some point when I was able to, I started wearing bangs to cover it. And
Mhm,
but I'm thinking like this thing with me goes back that far where I just want to be hidden. I feel
mm,
first I feel because I'm flawed, physically flawed,
mhm,
that, that's a thing. But also I just don't wanna stand out, and I just don't wanna stand out.
mhm, mhm.
And that's
Yeah,
reflected in, I guess the things you hear me say right now, but
yeah.
also the colors that I wear. This top I have on right now is kinda like my rose gold color that I've been adopting, but that's about as far
I'm gonna
as it
buy you something red.
I probably won't wear it. I might wear it once, but I probably won't wear it because
Just
I don't.
because I gave it to you.
Yep, but I don't wear red or orange or yellows or anything that's colorful or bright.
Mhm.
That's what I
The thing about me mentioning the mood dressing was tied into what we were talking about how, you know, the inner beauty and the outer beauty, how it all goes together because you dress how you feel. At least I do. I dress how I feel. And if you're successful and confident and and all of that, and you walk in that every day, people are going to see that physically.
Mm,
People see that physically.
so I think for me, I would flip that for myself a little bit. I feel how I dress. I tend to buy or look for clothes that I think are flattering and that I don't have to put a lot of thought into. So like a nice swing dress, a
Mhm.
nice wrap dress. It's flattering. I look nice. And I now don't have to think about my physical appearance. That is done. And I can be like doing something else in the world. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Mhm.
yes, yes,
Like
it does.
if I'm wearing something that I think is flattering, then I'm like ready for business in the world.
Mhm.
Out that business.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. What else you got for us, Tara?
I do still have some scripture.
Yes, we live for the scriptures.
So I think that a scripture that is really on point and also expresses how I feel comes from First Samuel chapter 16 verse 7, which says, "For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart." And I would say that for me, the scripture is pretty much saying that God's definition of beauty isn't based on, filters, isn't based on fashion, and is not even based on flaws. Every time, when I say flaws, I like that word.
Yeah,
I
you
like that
do.
alliteration though. Not based on filters, not based on fashion, not based on flaws.
Flaws. But it really is rooted in it's rooted in the condition of our hearts. Like, who are we when nobody's looking, right? How do we love? How do we, I don't know, how do we protect? How do we do all these things that not only support ourselves, but also support others? And as I said earlier when I was talking, how closely we, I guess, reflect his character, what we think he wants us to reflect. So, that's my scripture.
Love that.
Groovy, groovy.
Did you say groovy?
Yeah.
I did.
And alright, so at the end of the day, beauty fades, but worth doesn't. You're not more valuable when you feel put together, and you're not less valuable when you don't. Your worth, what the scripture is saying, your worth was sealed before you picked out that outfit or before you compare yourself to anybody else in the room. So whether today feels like a glow up or a glow down, remind yourself you are already enough, beautiful or not, you are deeply worthy, and that should never change. Thank you for listening. We hope this discussion has given you, like us, something to think about. Don't forget, you can find a new episode every other Thursday. And also, please share, rate, review, subscribe. do all the things to let other people know about us.
Find us on the socials and give us some comments.
Thank you, beautiful people, beautiful inside and outside, for joining us once again. And we'll see you back here in, don't forget, 2 weeks, every other Thursday. Bye bye.
Peace out.